Happy Tuesday. Happy holidays. About to get started here in a quick second. Adjust my chair, adjust my camera. So once again, we're gonna do a quick hit, and I'll put that up on the screen. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for a little bit before we get started. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. Hope everybody's ready for Christmas. So let's get started. Like I said, it's going to be a super short video. If you looked at the thumbnail, let me bring that up. We're just going to talk about the NSA, SolarWinds. I put SolarWinds continued. What that's actually talking about is the SolarWinds actually breached Microsoft, FireEye, and the next big thing it actually breached was VMware. You see on the screen, VMware Workspace 1. VMware is another infrastructure company that was attacked. By, well, some people say Russia, some people say China. So we're just gonna say a nation state. We're just gonna make it general. It was attacked by a nation state. So Russian state sponsor actor exploiting vulnerability in VMware Workspace 1 access using compromised credentials. So we're going to get into it. So state sponsor actor injected vulnerabilities into VMware. VMware has way more customers than FireEye and SolarWinds by far. Almost every government entity uses VMware. Microsoft uses VMware. AWS uses VMware. Google uses VMware. VMware is probably one of the most highly used components infrastructures in all over the planet. So what's up, Maddox? What's up, CL? CL said definitely not Russia. He believes it's China, but we're going to debate that, so we're just going to leave it at state sponsored. So once again, I got all the links in the description, so you can have all the resources I use. So if you want to validate it or come back later, we probably do an online discussion about all the hacks probably next week, and we get all the teams together and just kind of go through it. So we're just going to read it real quick. From the summary, the Russian state-sponsored malicious cyber actor are exploiting vulnerabilities in VMware Access and VMware Identity products, allowing the actors to access the protected data and abusing the federated authentication. VMware released a patch for the command-injected vulnerability. It was for CVE 2020-4006 on December the 3rd. The NSA encouraged National Security Systems, Department of Defense, Department of Industrial Base Networks, administrators to prioritize the mitigation of the vulnerability on the affected servers. So basically, NSA say you need to patch this immediately. Password-based access to the web-based management interface of the device is required to exploit the vulnerability. So using a strong, unique password lowers the risk of exploitation. The risk is lowered further if the web-based management interface is not accessible from the internet. The vulnerabilities are affecting the following products: VMware Access, VMware VIDM, VMware Connector, VMware Cloud Foundation, and VMware Realize Suite Lifestyle Manager. So these are some of the products that are used from VMware. The exploitation is via command injection. T1059 led to installation of a web shell and the follow-on malicious activities were credentials in the form of SAML authentication, Assertion was generated and sent to Microsoft Active Directory for federated service, which in turn granted access to the protected data. So if you're using federated accounts, if you have the key, the actor takes the key, it can actually generate a key to itself, and it can actually elevate its privilege. So once you elevate your privilege to a super account or a privileged account, you can actually do anything and attack those services. So it's actually going on those VMware guest hosts and stealing data. Why? It's actually at the root host or at the top root VMware set. So let's talk about mitigation action. The number one mitigation, of course, is patching. Update affecting systems to the latest version as soon as available, according to VMware instructions. It's talking about knowledge base 8175.4. Review and hardening the configuration and monitoring of federated authentication. So here it's talking about the workarounds. In the knowledge base, critical portions of the activity can be blocked by disabling the configuration service and following the procedures from a Linux-based appliance. So the state-sponsored actor now has a hack for Windows, and now it has actually a hack to get in a Linux-based system. So now it can attack any system, because most systems are either going to be Windows-based or some form of Linux or Unix. So now with the VMware attack, it actually can hack into your actual Linux accounts. So it says just SSH to SSH user, install the update, sudo to your root account, then it tells you how to disable the configurations. Once again, I'm just going to leave those instructions in the description of this live stream. The other cool part is how to do detection of that. Network-based indications are unlikely to be effective or detection exploitation, since the activity occurs exclusively inside an encrypted transport layer tunnel associated with the web interface. So all the attacks that the state sponsor does is actually inside encrypted traffic. So a lot of times companies won't actually decrypt their traffic to actually look at it and read it. So that's one way hackers can actually get into your system. They're actually on the encrypted tunnel you use to encrypt it, but they're actually attacking your organization through your encrypted tunnel. So what to look for in the actual log files? It says, however, the indication of this activity may be caught in the server logs. The presence of exit statement followed by a 3-digit number. It's usually exit 123 within the configuration of the log suggests exploitation has occurred. The log can be found at opt VMware Horizon Workspace configuration logs. So if you see exit 123 in your logs, more than likely you have been breached by a state sponsor. If the logs are detected, incident response actions should be followed. Additional information of the server, especially the web shell malware, is recommended. Detect and prevent web shell malware. Regular monitoring of authentication logs by anomalies, especially successful ones that leverage established trust, but come in the form of an unusual address or contain unusual property. Right, so there's additional further guidance. Exploiting the vulnerabilities require additional password-based access to the management interface of the device, which is encrypted with TLS. The interface runs over port 8443, but it could be over any user-defined port. The NSA, DoD, and DIB network administrator should limit accessibilities of the management interface on the server to only a small set of known systems and block it from direct access from the internet. People, what's up? Definitely not Russia. Just saying, SML injection. If you look up SML injection, that's usually from a web service. It's actually created by SML injection is created by using the web service, and in there you actually have labels. So when they do the actual encryption of the key, you can actually put your password in there to make you impersonate a root user or a privileged account. So once again, this is actually in the description. So Krebs on security, which is on your screen now, he actually brought up a few other, I thought, interesting capabilities of the attack. He said in the advisory of the VMware vulnerabilities, the NSA urged patching as soon as possible, encouraging the national security system. The NSA said in order to exploit the Flaw, the hacker should already need to have accessible to the vulnerable VMware management interface. So there's a couple things to do with the management interface. Make it not accessible from the internet. So when you need to get on it, you should be able to use a certificate that you generated. Only you and your admin support team should be able to have that certificate to actually get through there. You can actually VPN onto your network and actually join to that particular subnet, so that way you can get it on the internet. That user can only VPN and get that subnet onto there. And the most important part is when you're on the actual trying to get to the interface. Once you get to that interface, you should be on an MFA, multi-factor authentication, to get to that subnet. So once again, you cannot get to the interface console from the internet. I VPN and get to that subnet, which allows me to have access to that interface for the console. Then once I join to that subnet through VPN, it'll do MFA to call my phone or send me a text, right? So then that way, if the hacker actually got to that subnet, they wouldn't have your phone or your VPN token to be able to get to that interface. So if you did that, I think that would actually block 90% of the ways you could use to get to the VMware Flaw. So what we were going over with, and once again, it's in your description box. Welcome, James. We actually just went over Russian state sponsor actor exploiting vulnerability in a VMware Workspace, one access using the command. The other thing is, which I guess I didn't know, is which I have on the screen. VMware has 75% of the actual virtualization market in the United States. So if the state sponsor hacker can get on VMware, it actually is on 80% of the boxes in the United States, which I was pleasantly surprised, which once again is in the description. Nevertheless, more than 3/4 of our business location with 50 or more employees using server virtualization. The mostly commonly used server virtualization is still VMware at 77%. In fact, compared to last year, VMware has expanded its share to 75%. This is from 2017 and 2018. I actually think VMware actually is becoming more popular as a virtualization architecture. The only thing actually might be becoming more popular than VMware, people are usually going to containerization to actually do those type of hacks. So we're going to just skim to this last article. Once again, it's in there in the description. It's called Bleeping Computer. VMware latest confirmed breach in the SolarWinds hacking campaign. VMware is the latest company to confirm that it had a system breach in the recent SolarWinds attack, but denied further exploitation or attempts. The company said the hackers did not make any effort to further exploit their access after deploying the backdoor, now tracked as Sunburst or SolarGate. So VMware is saying they see no other access to any of their components in their architecture. They believe no data was stolen. While we have identified limited incidents of the vulnerability to the RIAN software in our own internal environment, our own internal investigation has not revealed any indication of the exploitation. This is in a company statement. The VM zero-day exploit has not been used in recent high-profile attacks. VMware distributed a media report that the zero-day vulnerability in multiple VM products reported by the NSA was used an additional attack vector besides SolarWinds Orion platform to compromise high-profile targets. Once again, we talked about the vulnerability for that track in the CVE 2020-4006. It was published. The NSA, we looked at that hazard advisory 3 days later, talking about the security flaw and how to address it. The report has prompted an alert issued by the United States Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, called CISA, saying the APT group behind the ongoing compromise campaign is targeting the United States government agencies using more than one initial access vector. So they say you can get in using VMware or the SolarWinds attack, right? So now there's multiple vectors of how to get that. So once again, customers are urged to patch their systems. VMware encourages all customers to apply the latest patch. FireEye is currently tracking the threat actor behind the SolarWinds supply chain attack, while Velocity has linked activities to a threat actor known as Dark Halo. So these are groups in foreign countries. One was called Dark Halo, and the other was called UNC 24552. Dark Halo operators is behind multiple malicious campaigns between late 2019 and July 2020. According to Velocity, targeting and successfully breaching the same United States-based think tank 3 times in a row. Uninformed media reports also cited sources connecting to these recent attacks. The APT, or Advanced Threat, aka they call Cozy Bear, is a nation-state hacking group linked to Russia Foreign Intelligence Service, the SVR. However, cyber companies and researchers include FireEye, Microsoft, and Velocity has not yet attributed these attacks to the APT-29 at this time. Once again, I just wanted to come to you with just a short, quick hit on this holiday, quick lunch and learn. If you have any comments or questions, just leave them in the chat or leave them in the description. I just wanted to do something short and quick today. I hope everybody has a great holiday. And I'm sure I'm going to do an online chat, and I'm going to invite everybody up in 2021. I'm getting my internet speed upgraded, so we won't have any problems. So I'm sure we're all going to meet on online chat, and we're going to actually chop up a lot of security in 2021. Once again, have a great holiday, and that's all I have for today, fellas. I appreciate it.